Yes, it has. Welcome to Conversations That Matter. I'm Katelyn Yarbrough, also known as Kat, and this is my
Michelle
counterpart.
Treece. How are you folks? Also known as Michelle.
Hopefully doing well. We are very excited this evening to have two very interesting folks from the Jonesborough area here with us tonight. And we are going to, let me turn my camera around here, and we're going to meet them. Oh, I see. It made the background. We'll address that in a moment. But we have Kati Jenkins and we have Ignacy Fonberg. And Ignacy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was born in 1938. This was virtually 1 year before the starting of the Second World War. So I had the doubtful privilege of living through the Nazi Germany system of government through communist system of government in Poland. And then I came to the United States in 1968, and when I'm living here under our doubtful democracy.
Well, thank you for that short but very intriguing bio. Kati, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Kati, and I am from the Jonesborough area. I grew up in Johnson City and went to school around here and everything. And my husband and I are Main Street Café and Catering, and we're really involved in town. And I'm part of the McKinney Center Diversity and Equity Committee with Michelle and Katelyn and Sky. And I'm very excited to be here and to be part of this conversation with my buddy Ignacy.
And we are buddies. Yes.
We are buddies.
Great. So the first question is, how did you guys meet?
The cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you been in Jonesborough, Ignacy?
Well, since 80. Let's see. I have to count. Not 80, since 79.
79?
Yes.
And so basically you met the Jenkinses in the cafe and everything when it first started
I
about
met
40
them
years
before
ago.
they even thought about having cafe. Okay,
Right.
maybe they were thinking, but
Right. And so he's been frequenting the cafe and everything in Jonesborough since then.
it's
You're a
yeah,
fixture.
started, yes, yeah.
And when I joined the cafe,
Yeah.
he comes down for lunch late in the afternoons and we just sit down and start talking and we became friends.
Yeah. But yes, it turns out also that genetically she's
I'm part Polish.
part Polish, yes. Yes.
So
you have something in common.
yes, that's what
Yes.
started our friendship, was just me
Yeah.
asking questions about Poland.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My goodness. Okay, so I have heard, and this is just me being nosy, so this might not be.
No, you might be nosy. I very like people are nosy.
Okay, well, good. Well, you came to the right place. So what was your profession?
Well, my profession was computer consulting. This was my profession. My schooling is in theoretical physics.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that you are an extremely brilliant mind.
And what kind of physics was that?
Theoretical.
Theoretical physics.
Theoretical.
Yeah.
Scary you.
I know, right? That's why I was like, let's go ahead and put that out there so we know what kind of mind we're dealing with this evening.
Wow. So you've been in Jonesborough probably as long as I've been in Johnson City area when I started college. You've seen a lot of changes over the time of living here.
Well, yes, but I would agree with you. Yes, yeah, yeah.
What brought you to Jonesborough?
Well, I was just following my wife, who came here because she decided to take job with new medical school, and my wife was mm, she has a PhD in biochemistry, and she was also physician. But anyway, she, as the person who was scientific in biochemistry, she was here hired as professor first, and then she was the head of the department when they still had the departments in the medical school.
And it's over at Quillen.
Yeah, and then I just came because I was sort of like freelance. Well, at this time I was freelance, and I decided, well, I can do in any area somehow. But she was the check earner, so to speak. She was the money, which was for the bread money for sure were coming from my wife, and I was sort of trying to do something.
That's good.
So we can thank your wife for you being here
That's
in
right.
Jonesborough
That's
and
right.
Quillen.
That's right. And okay, and Jonesborough is because of me, because I came and I looked around and I looked at the house, which was not livable, but was looked very nice. And also, from my point of view, was selling for nothing, because the houses in Connecticut, which we came from, were like 10 times more expensive. Okay, so we bought this house I'm living in now. This is called the Gresham House, and it has about 3 acres of land with it, and we paid $28,000 for it, and then we put another 10,000, and well, that's another story, okay? But anyway, we plan. We were promised that this is going to be livable for $10,000, and of course, when we have to move in, only one room, the kitchen was finished in the house. So our daughter, who was 3 at this time, our 4 cats and 3 dogs were living in this one room. But slowly the house became livable. Okay, so.
That's the Jonesborough way.
Jonesborough.
isn't
It is. It sure is.
We all know a little bit about that.
Yeah.
My goodness. I'm sure, is that how you met Dr. Kennedy, Bill Kennedy?
Well, I don't remember how, but this was some kind of. Well, we were looking for the social organizations and in Jonesborough, and of course this was the Jonesborough. What was the name of it at this time?
The
Not
heritage.
Jonesborough.
Are you talking about the zoning committee?
No, not committee. This was what organization we have right now?
The Heritage Alliance.
The Heritage Alliance. This was different. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jonesborough Historic Trust.
Yeah, the Civic Trust. Yes. And this was Audrey Kayman, and and sort of This is actually the first person I think I met was a lady who was working as for the Johnson City paper, Linda. If you she actually lived in one of these houses which your father-in-law owns.
Oh. The only Linda,
Linda Sanders, okay?
Okay.
Linda Sanders.
Linda Sanders. I was like,
Linda Sanders, and so she was, actually, she told me about this house which we later bought. This is really good house to buy if you have some money to restore it, okay? So Linda Sanders, so she was working here for the paper, and she knew everything, and then we came to Jonesborough, and I really liked Jonesborough just by looking at it, and then, but once we moved to Jonesborough, we really liked Jonesborough, so.
Well, we're happy to have you.
Yeah.
That's a great story. Yeah, that's a great story about
Yeah.
finding that house, moving in.
and his house is super cool, by the way. He has a super cool house. It's in the historic district. And how long have you had your solar panels on your house?
Well,
I feel like you're one of the first people in the area that had solar panels.
well, yes, yeah, about 8 years.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
I jotted it down. It's like the Gresham house. I need to go drive by.
Yeah, it's a really cool house.
Is there a history with the house?
Oh yeah, there's lots of history. Yes, this house is about 200 years old. Yes, and there were various families, and the various changes when you look at the house, especially when you go on the roof, you can see how this house wasn't built at one time. It was built in many stages. So when you look on the roof, you see that the roof was really built. The front part of the house was built initially, and then they built a sort of into the yard, and you can see this everything how the roof is sort of put together. So yes. So this was like initially they were in 3 rooms, in my opinion, and then they built. Now it's about 7 rooms. So this is like, and they were porches outside, and then they closed the porches, and now I have rooms with this closed porches, and then we built just room, sort of separate room. So.
Like a screened-in sunroom on the very back of the house. His cat loves it.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, but yeah, this was we built it because, well, my wife thought that our daughter may want to stay in the area, and then she initially would have this is built this way that there's like separate apartment, it has its own bathroom and whatever. But of course she put on.
So Katie, you grew up in the area as well. What do you think about all of the changes and just how Johnson City, Jonesborough has developed from, were you born in?
No, I was born in Syracuse, New York, but I moved down here when I was a toddler.
Okay.
So I don't really remember Syracuse other than like the times I've gone back up. I've definitely seen a lot of progression, especially because the first time I ever came, I lived in Jonesborough for a very small period of time when I was little, but the first time I really remember coming to Jonesborough, I was in 7th grade, and I came to the storytelling festival as a field trip because I was part of the storytelling club. And I've definitely seen more life come into everything in the last, 15 years, especially, which is just really nice because I feel like for the first time, Jonesborough's always really had an identity with the historical factors and storytelling and everything. But from where I've gone into like downtown Johnson City recently, especially, I feel like we're all finally getting our own actual identity, which is really nice. We still have some ways to go politically with everything, but culturally, I feel like we are becoming a much more open-minded and gaining our own vibe, and we're not just in the shadow of like Asheville or Bristol or anything like that anymore. So
I definitely agree.
Yeah, I do too.
For
I
sure.
do too. Anything fun about your house?
We've been living in our old house for about 4.5 years now. And I had a very terrible Thanksgiving one year from bad plumbing. But other than that, it's old, it's rickety. It's not rickety. It has all these really funny little attic rooms inside of it. That's my favorite feature of my house. Like I have like my own like vanity closet room in there, and I've like changed one of the other like attic spaces into a laundry room upstairs. And so it's pretty cool, and it's one of the only actual arts and crafts houses in the historic district, with the way that it's set up and also the year that it was built. It was built in 1925. And so that's a pretty cool history. I like it. We're only the 4th family to live there too, which I think is pretty neat in nearly 100 years. People go into that house and they stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is your home now.
Yep.
And you wrote a very nice article about your house.
Oh yes, I did write an article about the house for the Herald and Tribune a while back. I did a set of 3 different articles on the cafe building, the old quarters building, and our house for the Historic Zoning Committee, which is meeting right now, and nobody on that committee can see this right
I
now.
know, well, Dr. Kennedy called me yesterday to make sure, because he's very excited about this
Oh, is he?
this episode. So he was like, make sure there's a good recording.
Jay said the same thing to me whenever I saw him yesterday.
There you go. Yeah. So we are
funny.
delivering.
Oh, any history in your house? I mean, I just think it's amazing that these houses in the historic district, this area has so much interesting history. So like specific.
I don't know a lot about the families that have lived in my house. I just know more about the style of our house and about the arts and crafts movement. But I really don't know much about the people who have lived there before me. I have all the names, but whenever I did that article, I had a hard time finding out like who the people were that originally built it and what they did for a living. The cafe building, that's a really cool building. That is a Class C post office that was built in 1931 under the Federal Omnibus Provisions Act of 1913 or something. And so there's a lot of really cool history with the cafe and with old quarters. Those are way more interesting buildings than my house.
Old quarters was beautiful.
Yeah.
Big window is what I just love about that one.
Yeah, and a guy literally built all of that by hand. Like he fired his own bricks.
What?
For that building. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's dedication.
Yeah. No, the guy that built old quarters was an impressive man. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Also, when we were talking about the changes, okay, when we moved here, we just thought, well, what a really nice town in the south, which is not racist, but of course, when you live here and you just, like, I remember my wife was one of many different committees. And I don't want to mention names here, because especially they even don't remember them correctly right now, but she would come back and she would scream, she's damn racist. Because this was not like racism, this sort of horrible racism which tells you directly that you are not equal, but sort of like just suddenly like just talking about what white people did in this town, but nothing about what black people did, which they did a lot here. Yes, yeah, and also I think the black people were, I think, very important part of you know what, economy of everything. But anyway, so I remember that we was really mad about it. And also I discovered this too, that this is not as arousing sometimes as as it looks like that some,
That's true.
yeah, the people which you thought were sort of completely free of any prejudice are sort of, well, yes, but I love all blacks, but if my daughter married black, so things like that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's
What they would
something.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom got that.
Yeah.
Because she did do that
Right.
exact thing.
Right.
It was shocking, and then apparently I came along and everything got better. You're welcome, family. I ate it with that.
Yeah, so-
Do you think, Ignacy, that the racial tension or the prejudices that people were kind of covertly dealing with, or well,
Well, I think it's getting better because I think this all the they were not really racist, but because I would call them racist, but people with some racist sentiments, but they are dying out. Yeah, but for example, what we had here was this, which we call absolutely horrible. This ball, well, ball of what was this ball? They even called this the.
wait, what they would call this region?
Yeah. The ball
Bible Belt?
of southern states or something like this. You know, well, you are probably too young to remember this, but you remember this,
I don't.
no? Well, this was in always held in this building where the school, the normal school used to be on the this big building on the opposite to you.
Oh, the Warner Institute.
Yes.
Yes.
They used to-
No, opposite to your house.
Yeah,
This is-
yeah.
The Booker T. Washington?
Or we're talking about the
No. This used to be a school for
for girls.
For the girls. Yes,
Yeah,
initially, yes. Yeah.
Warner.
Yes, the Warner
Yeah.
Institute.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this ball was always, well, this was like few years, and of course we thought it was just horrible idea because this was southern sort of projecting the southern culture, and but we loved, this was person here living, Lorena Lyle, which of course was one of the very nice person, local race. Do you know Lorena Lyle?
I do not.
Well, no.
I'm not from here.
Well, you probably know her son who is crazy.
I don't know who that is.
Still lives in this house. You don't know who he
Did
is?
you not?
I'll
Oh,
oh,
I know,
You-
yeah,
you-
I get it.
What?
nothing,
Oh, no,
nothing.
we're
Everything's
not.
fine.
You know
I
him.
picked up what we're putting down.
Okay, well.
But
I'll put it out.
the Warner House, is that what it's called?
The Warner Institute.
Warner, was that for black girls or girls?
It was
Or
for
white
No,
girls?
this was, no, black, forget about black.
Okay,
They were the best of the best.
okay, I got you.
Now, the Warner
cream.
Institute before it was
White
the Warner
cream,
Institute.
yes.
It was-
No, but what I'm saying that the ball was taking place, and then of course Lorena every year was putting her dress from the
Victorian type thing?
beginning of the 1900s, yes, and was participating. So because we loved her, we also participated. But this was, of course, horrible idea, and of course we had a black mayor. So at this time, what was his name?
Kevin McKinney?
Kevin, Kevin McKinney, and I was just asking him in what character he is going to be.
Oh, gosh. Was it like a reenactment debutante?
Well,
kind of
it was
thing?
really but in a way, it was a reenactment. You see, it was supposed to show this well southern style and hospitality. Yes,
Yeah,
Right.
perpetuating that
Yeah,
culture.
Right.
yeah. But anyway, so if you even don't remember this, but anyway, Sue Henley, who was, you know, Sue Henley,
Mhm.
who was.
Dang. Technical difficulty.
Who loved the ball and was also organizing the ball. Okay, she can tell you all about it.
Sue, oh, I will ask.
Yeah,
believe
yeah. But anyway,
I want to, yeah.
so-
I wanna hear
I know,
about
I want to
that.
know more about this.
This whole there.
But
So-
anyway,
So you think things are getting better, having conversations and it being openly discussed, do you think that that is?
well, yeah, but I had a, yeah, no, I had conversation. Well, this was a lady who is a friend and who was cleaning for us for over 30 years, and I talked to her, and she thought that this was a lot of racism in the area, and also her father was my very good friend, and well, the the only plumber in Jonesborough who knew everything. Sort of every pipe in his head. So, but anyway, so he also told me about a lot of racist problems he had in his life. Yeah. So
Was he black? Were they black?
of course.
Okay,
Of course.
just making sure. Just checking.
Yeah. Well, you should know them, but I don't want to go into names.
That's fine, you don't have to. I definitely think that that's a commonality even today, and the Meghan and Harry Oprah debacle of now Prince William's like, we are very not racist.
Mhm.
I don't think you really will notice it unless you are the one that is being othered.
Right.
So it's kind of hard. And it's nice that they were able to share their stories with you and broaden your perception of everything.
But actually, I am not absolutely interested in it. You see, so.
Right.
Yeah, but because I think this is sort of, I'm not interested in the family, Queen family in England. Or
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I was just bringing that up as an
Yeah,
example.
yeah,
I'm not that interested until we had
I totally
a
understand.
biracial Duchess.
Yeah.
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 But, yeah, geez. Katie, did you deal with racism in the area growing up and going to school here? I know that you're
Yes.
share a little bit about your heritage and your story with us.
So my maiden name is Haj Hussein, and I'm half Syrian. Not a great time to grow up in this area during the height of Saddam and Desert Storm and stuff like that. When I was in first grade, 3 little boys beat me up purely just because of my name on the playground, and just dealt with backhanded comments and kids at school picking on me. The biggest thing that always happened to me when I was an adult, or I would go to the liquor store, okay, and they'd see my ID, and I would, not every liquor store, there's one in particular, and where are you from? Are you a Christian? Well, where were you born? Yeah. And I'm just like,
I'm 21.
I'm just trying to buy some vodka. Like, I'm not here. And yeah. And the same thing happened when I was working the Appalachian Fair for my community service group. I remember a guy, I had a name tag on, guy was asking me all these questions, and my friend Tori, I saw you shared this on Facebook. I wonder if you're watching. I don't know if you remember this, but I was getting very upset over this guy asking me all these questions. And Tori, she just grabbed the funnel cake that wasn't even supposed to go to him, and he was like, "You can leave now." She was like, "You can go. Here's your funnel cake. Go on."
Yeah.
And just to get him away from the booth. And so it's ridiculous because as soon as I changed my name to Jenkins, not a single word about anything ever. In the last, almost 5 years. And so, but growing up, it was definitely nerve wracking, especially I remember specifically going to like the Haunted Mill out in Greenville and being terrified to put my name. But my stepdad, his last name is Perry, and I would put Perry on stuff. But then Katy Perry became a person, and she was famous. So I couldn't do that anymore. And I came up with my own like white last name that I would give people, Hutchinson.
Oh my God.
Like the tanning bed, I'd go to the tanning bed, it'd be Katie Hutchinson.
That's
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think about that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
so it's a name.
It's a
right?
name.
It is a complete.
It is a
It is
name.
the name.
Yeah, but in her case, this is
nothing.
more name rather than race, because of
Right.
course
Mhm.
you cannot tell if she's Polish stock or whatever. Yeah, this is just something in the in the name. Yeah.
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 Because it's almost just as offensive when people see me like, you got something going on in there. What is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
You might as well just walk up and be like, "You look exotic.
yeah,
Tell us where you're from. You're not from here." Cool.
No, where are you really from?
yeah, exactly.
That's incredible. I mean, it just doesn't stop. I mean,
No.
there's no boundaries
Yeah,
to
well,
racism.
that's-
It's not just color of your skin. It's a last name.
The last name.
Yeah, this is, I must say, this is something I learned of this, of course, but I completely misjudged the American society before I came here. I thought that well, I really I learned a lot, of course, since I was here, but I thought that all the prejudices, racial and others, they're all gone, and sort of you can have any name you want, and any color of skin you want. That doesn't make any difference. But of course, it's like everywhere else. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So.
When you came here to America, you were in Connecticut first, or?
Well, yeah, we were. But my wife was teaching at Yale. Yes, so we were
Okay.
there for quite a few years. But I was also in Boston before. Yeah. So.
Did you have any incidents of racism or just?
Well, yeah, Polish probably, but I didn't pay. You see, I didn't pay attention. So so even if somebody was maybe making Polish jokes, I just probably ignored this. So yeah, but I just thinking back. Probably I ran into people who were sort of wanted to rub the fact that I was Polish, and this was something bad about this. Yeah. So,
And did you get that from white people, black people?
no, white, only white.
White.
Yeah, no, no, I did not get any racism from black people.
Right.
Would have loved for like the
Yeah,
whole like
yeah, well-
Polish stereotype is that Polish people are dumb.
Well,
I would
yeah,
love
yeah,
for
sure,
someone
yes.
to try to call you out for being like a
That's-
dumb
that's right,
Polish
yeah.
person.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's just like he's a theoretical
but-
physicist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me school you.
Yeah, but I know my I have two daughters. One is adopted, and my son-in-law is black, and he says that in his family there's a lot of anti-white feelings, like his whatever, the grandfather especially are very much were racist against white people. So, yeah, so I know about the existence of reverse racism, but I never was exposed, of course. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
It's everywhere.
That happened in my family, getting a lot of flack for having a white mother on my black side of my family. And my dad is an educator, which he's black and educated and educator. So would constantly critique our speech, diction, we were not allowed to be grammatically incorrect, things like that. And so my cousins would literally rag on me, my little brothers that didn't know any better, go back to your white mom, all this stuff, thinking that like we picked all this up from our white mother, and really it's my dad that's like making me go to my room and write something 50 times because I did it wrong, or and so it's like it's your own blood, and so it's just so silly to have the racism. Love is love, and so it shouldn't matter who you choose to be with. And you never know what behaviors different people have, I'm a comic book nerd.
Yeah, right.
And I'm also partially from Africa. My brother did his DNA test, and I'm like, I thought.
Well, actually, we are all from Africa. Just a little bit.
Think about it,
Probably, well, all of us were, this is ridiculous to say, when the people came from Africa, I'm pretty sure they were black because this was the way to be if you were in Africa, to be black. When you go to Europe, you had to become white because you have to get vitamin D. Okay, so it was, and actually all of us have this genes which would make your skin black, which very easily.
It's so true. It's all about where you're from.
Yep.
So in Africa, having the larger nostrils where it's so hot, so you can inhale more oxygen. So that's like, having a big nose and all that stuff. It's like, that's what I'm naturally acclimated for.
Right.
Being in the Arctic, people having, real slit eyes, it's because you can't have big wide eyes over evolution. They became thinner so that you wouldn't go blind.
Blind, yes, reflection, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if people could just understand that they need to crack open an
Well,
article
yes,
or a book.
yeah. No, but people, well, this is another story. People,
You have to keep remembering we're being recorded. We're not just sitting in your living room complaining.
It goes back to that whole concept of evolution, which, as a biology teacher, like,
well,
you better believe in evolution. Of course, I probably get.
most people, most people would not believe in evolution because this is not what they're being taught in the church, and so. And this is one of the problems. Okay, and no, this is I think the level of there's another of science in the United States, which I thought would be great. It's atrocious, absolutely atrocious. I went to schools in Poland, and they were. Except this, I also went to Yale University, so maybe Yale was on the same level of teaching as Warsaw University, but not much higher. But anyway, all the schools in the United States, in comparison to schools in Poland, just no comparison. My niece. Who has the same name in Polish, Kasia, came here, and then she was in 9th grade in Poland, and she went to university school. and she was immediately put in 12th grade.
Oh my gosh.
As far as her science, and she already knew much more than she was required in the 12th grade. So anyway, this was, but this was many years ago. But anyway, this was, the situation did not get better, it got worse.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
So just,
And to tell the whole of America that, nobody's
Well,
listening, that's gonna go
I
out.
no, I really think so. Yes, but I cannot. From what I can tell, yes, that schools absolutely do not pay attention to teaching the students science. This is just social interaction, whatever, but no science.
Mhm.
Well, I had again the simplest questions, scientific questions, I ask Americans, they cannot answer.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so, but then anyway, so, no, but anyway, this is again,
Another
but
conversation.
not another topic,
Really
yes.
gonna
We can
invite you back.
spend all day, yes.
You mentioned religion earlier. What are your thoughts on religion?
My religion, well, I'm Catholic by birth, but I am really, I must admit, I'm not religious at all.
And how about you, Kate? You wanna share?
Yeah, I'm not religious. I was raised, Methodist, and dabbled, especially since it's just so influential when you're young around here. It's like you just feel like you don't belong if you don't go to a church, and so I kind of forced it for a while, especially when I was in for a little period in high school, and I have my own belief system. I feel like there's just too much hypocrisy in religion around here. And so I just kind of I have my own belief system and I do my own thing and teach my kid about gratitude and karma and putting out good and getting back good. And that's what I'm going to try and teach him. So
Yeah.
just, treat people how you want to be treated and respect.
I believe that's the spirituality part of it.
Yeah.
And I do believe that.
Yeah.
Judge not lest ye be judged. It's in the Bible,
Mhm.
and it's the one part they aren't reading.
I know.
It's not being comprehended correctly.
I know.
I'm not religious, but I send my daughter to Catholic St. Mary's.
It is one of the best schools in the area.
Because
It really
My
is.
husband got kicked out in like
Yeah,
first grade.
I've heard the story. I have heard the story.
What?
He's not Catholic. He got into a scuffle with now Mark Merriman.
Yeah.
But they were literally in like first or second grade, and Mark apparently spilled peaches on Blake's blue suede shoes. And so they started to scuffle, and Blake is not Catholic, but Mark is from a large Catholic family. And so Blake was asked to leave, but he was constantly in trouble there. He ate lunch with-
let me understand this question. Blake was asked to leave because he was Catholic?
Because he was
No.
not Catholic, and he was an only child.
And he
so
was a
his
troublemaker.
parents were
Oh.
paying for him to, well, everyone was
Yeah.
paying to go to St. Mary's,
Oh.
but him not being a member of the church. His
Oh, and
family-
Mark was Catholic?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it was easier to remove problem child, my husband Blake,
Non-Catholic.
non-Catholic, from the Catholic private school.
And Mark is one of 10.
There you
No,
go.
just a minute. Removed from school?
Mhm.
Yeah. He was a troublemaker. He got into a fight with Mark.
Over some
Oh.
suede shoes.
Yeah.
Huh.
And so they said, "See you later, Blake. No more Blake. We're gonna keep all the other good Catholic kids and get rid of
Yeah.
this Protestant."
And Blake-
No, just a minute. What school? It wasn't St. Mary's.
It was St. Mary's.
It was St. Mary's. It was way back in the day. But
like-
his mother.
It
like-
was St. Mary's?
Yes.
Where this, who was the, do you know who was the sister?
I know that he was always with Sister Jolita. He had to eat lunch with her.
Oh, this was after my time, after Gosha's time, okay.
Sister Jolita had his number.
I-
And then when they found out his mother was an educator, they were like, he can go to school wherever she's teaching.
But I have to complain.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, this is incredible.
Well, I didn't mean to blow your mind, but yeah, St. Mary's is a very good school.
Well, no, this is good school, and also, believe me, at this time, when this lady who actually, well, this is my wife who was, well, she wasn't very religious, but she got really impressed with the sister who ran St. Mary's School at this time. She got impressed to the point that she decided to change her denomination to Catholicism, despite the fact that she wasn't very religious. So, yeah, but anyway, this is just, to me, this is so horrible to what you are telling me. But this lady, I know that really had to go much worse, because this definitely would happen when the lady who was our friend had the reign, so to speak.
So that wouldn't have
Yeah.
happened.
Wouldn't happen, no, but this is, well,
Well, I blew your mind. So we've asked you all questions. Do you by chance have questions for each other? I know you all have had many conversations, but is there anything that you have that maybe you're curious about that you haven't ever asked Ignacy, or vice versa?
I might be stealing one of your questions, Michelle, and I'm really sorry. No, did you have any involvement, or did you see any like firsthand like civil rights movements in the late 60s and early 70s whenever you first came here and you were up north?
well, yes, but I rather, well, at this time I said I needed some more education, because I sort of, well, I would have to really expand upon it, but at this time, in general, I thought that black people complained too much, rather than sort of getting nose to the grind and sort of improving themselves. And then I changed my mind, okay? But anyway, this was when I came to this country. And also, I've seen a lot of these crazies were coming to campus. They were talking funny about killing their parents, your parents, and things like this. And also, this was organization which was blowing things around. So I was not very sympathetic to a lot of things which were going on. Of course, I was. I wasn't ever racist, because I wasn't taught to be racist. You see, that's like, was nobody I could be racist against. Okay, so
It's just the societal things that you were hearing and kind of being perpetuated a little bit. Some of the societal things that you were hearing and seeing are just kind of being perpetuated in your mind a little bit, and then you had conversations and you talked to people.
But anyway, now I just see much more that it's not easy to change everything actually in 3 generations. Well, maybe from, more than 3, but not very many, maybe 5. Okay, since Civil War, yeah, we have 5 generations, so it's impossible to change what was before in this, as far as people's attitude, and but also there were a lot of things I was completely not aware of. United States, for example, I was absolutely not, when I came to this country, of course, I absolutely was not aware of the number of lynchings, for example, in the United States. Absolutely, I was not aware of it. And I don't know anybody in Europe who is aware of it. And also I wasn't aware that there were massacres of black people in towns in which black people were doing good, like and also like in North Carolina I think in 19. Well, this was still 1800, but very close to 1900s, like the blacks and progressive won, and the Klan packed everybody into the train. And you know what what I'm talking about?
No.
Well, you don't even know what I'm talking about. Well, the port. What is the big town in North Carolina?
Charlotte, Raleigh,
No, on the shore.
on the coast, Charleston,
No,
North Carolina,
above.
Wilmington.
But yeah, this is Wilmington and its surrounding area. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, I think this is. Just book was written about this, but anyway, I was following it for.
Oh, the Wilmington insurrection of 1898.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, but I knew about this maybe 15 years already. Okay, but you see, you have to look at that.
Yeah, I better believe I'm going to Google a massacre I've not heard of. It was black folks in the state I was born in. I've never heard of it.
I never heard of it either.
Well, yeah. So things like this, okay, which I had to learn that you never heard about this, but they should be taught in school.
Speaking of insurrection, I hope it's okay. We've got a couple questions in the chat, and one of them is very good. It's from Merritt. For Ignacy, you witnessed a drastic political change in Poland during its communist years. What is your perspective on extremist trends in the U.S. reflected by January 6th breach of the U.S. Capitol?
Well, my perspective is that we would have to tell if that we just brushed against the totalitarian system. This is my perspective. I think if he managed to well, if the situation lasted a few more hours and he managed to hang pens and whatever, reverse the situation with well, first we would have civil war. This is one thing, but most likely he would stay as president, and we would have a very completely. I even don't want to go into the horror sectors which we would have here. No, we would have really, by the end of his second being in the White House, you would have a full-blown totalitarian system here. which I don't even, why I could talk to you about how it looks like, but it would be horrible.
It would be very scary, that's for sure.
And I still don't think we are completely safe, because people are so idiotic that they are going to vote next time, maybe not for Trump, but for somebody very similar. So. But that's different matter. Again,
Yeah.
we can have more sessions.
Hey, we do. Might have to have some little side sessions.
Yeah, I know.
Tea time with Ignacy.
Thoughts.
Yes.
Thoughts on our,
Yeah.
on the world.
Yes.
What's this other, oh, that's just a comment, isn't it?
I think that's the rest of that.
Isabel Wilkerson, author of the cast, the Nazis studied the Jim Crow South when they were developing laws related to miscegenation to restrict rights of Jewish citizens. They looked at South Africa's apartheid and concluded that South Africa hadn't gone far enough. It's a really good book. Oh,
It's a book. I think that's a follow-up on that question.
I see.
Called Cast, which I haven't read. I have it, but I haven't read it yet.
cast. Well, thank you, Merritt, because that's a book I'll be
Yeah.
listening to.
Exactly.
Yikes. Ignacy, do you have any questions for Katie? Something that perhaps you don't know that you are interested in finding out while we're all in the room watching?
Well, she actually answered when she said how she was sort of persecuted for being Arab. This, in a sense, answered my question. Yeah, but this is something. This is probably something which would happen not just in our society here. Probably something like this could happen in Poland too, for example. Yeah, but if this was appropriate person, yeah, this was, for example, if. No, I just think, which is that's ignorance is a horrible thing. Yeah. So whatever age of the ignorant people are, yeah, they could be very young, and they could be much older, and the result is about the same. Yeah.
Have you heard the difference between ignorance and stupidity?
Well, I don't know. The ignorance and stupidity, but yes, but I think our ignorance, of course, takes its source in stupidity, because we cannot get the right information, and we cannot process the information, even if we get it. Yeah. But I think our society is both. Extremely stupid and extremely ignorant.
Yeah, I was taught that ignorance is not knowing better, and that stupidity is knowing better, but still doing the ignorant thing.
Well, not being able to, yes, to get the
Can actually like process that information.
The kernel of truth from the information, yeah, which and of course now everybody, I don't have a telephone, the smart telephone, because I think the so-called smart telephone just puts your stupidity and ignorance to the highest level, because you usually just get one kind of information. So I decided not to even have a device like this.
Little propaganda machine.
Well,
Depends on what axe you're down the road.
but that doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be, but unfortunately, it is. Yeah.
It's like a weapon.
Yeah.
Do we have time
So-
for one more?
So Katie has to call me on a regular phone.
I mean, landlines are a much clearer reception.
Aren't
It's
they?
unreal. Unreal.
No 5G.
What, much clearer on my phone?
Yeah, whenever I called you from the landline, I was like, "You're so clear." It's like having my stepdad. I called him landline to landline. He's like, "I can actually hear you," and I was like, "I can hear you too."
Old
Sorry.
school.
Yeah.
But it's reliable.
It is.
Let's see, we've got something here from Diane Nelson. It says, my colleagues in Poland are very concerned about the political situation there with the rise of extremism, neo-Nazis, and white supremacy. It seems they are traveling the same direction as the US. Do you see the similarity in both countries now? Will Poland become less democratic?
Well, I am very concerned too, but I think the way they see it is completely wrong in a way. Sort of the foreigners see it because well I'm well but in the ideas I worry a lot about this exactly what is coming here, that people get information from one stupid source, and they should really, in Poland, they should know better, but they, from what my generation went through, they should know better, but and my generation wasn't the worst, okay, but the young people just absolutely don't pay attention to the past, of course, and they just get some. And I see this in the internet. I get internet from Poland, and there's some complete idiots talking about things which I know very well. They are different, you see, and just changing facts and yeah, but I think this neo-Nazi, what they call neo-Nazis is greatly exaggerated, but this is a lot of people who are what we would call rightist leaning, but this doesn't mean that this has any connection with the neo-Nazis, okay? Like what we can connect to neo-Nazis. I've seen really one thing, which was probably more, but one thing on the television that this was a couple of, maybe 3 years ago, during the March of Independence. This was a group who was what was this sign saying exactly? Okay, I wanted to give you an example, but now I don't want to, because I don't remember exactly what was said. I don't want to. But anyway, it was said something about the fact that more or less, but I'm not giving you the exact, but like these people who are screaming, Jews are not going to replace us, okay? Mm-hmm. So this was something akin to it, you see. This is, but not as strong, okay? But still, this was some anti-Jewish, which I would say in Poland, this is very Nazi connection, okay? But and also what's interesting, in Poland, this is illegal, okay? So you cannot have signs like this. So I think that eventually this sign was confiscated, but still appeared in the television because somebody took the television picture before. Yeah, because in the United States you can say anything. In Poland, well, if you say that Hitler was a great man, you are liable to go to jail. Okay, so yeah, this is just a criminal offense. Okay, so you cannot. You cannot legally do it. Let's put it this way. Yes.
Yeah. True. We have some not too stronger laws, but yeah, there's some stuff could get shut down around here. Oh, let's see. Okay, so final thoughts. What if you could have a call to action of people that you wish you could shake and wake up and be like, please do something? What would it be, Katie?
Like, what would my call to action be, or what would be my group of people that I'd want to shake awake?
Well, so
yeah, but I don't want to single out people.
Email that later.
Yeah.
What action? What action?
What action do you think people need to take to be a better human, to be more tolerable of each other and more kind? What do you think would be a good first step, if it is their first step, or just something that they should do? You talked about teaching your son gratitude and karma and putting good out into the world. For the grown folks out there that didn't have a good mama like you, what would you recommend?
This could sound really cheesy. I think everyone needs a really good massage and some therapy. Because I feel like a lot of those people that just like shut other people down just for being different. Well, yes, there is like a familial systemic factor that comes down. I also really feel that the person themselves is having whatever past trauma, blah, 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 blah. And that's why they're taking it out and projecting it. And so get a massage, calm down that autonomic nervous system, go to some therapy, work on yourself. And I feel like that the whole world would be a better place if we all got massaged every day.
Yes, we need a lot of massages.
Yes, massages all the time. I'm also really, really dying for one. It's been a very long time.
My shoulders were like, ooh.
Yeah.
That's true. Release some tension and work through some of your own issues, and then maybe you won't be putting the hate out on.
Yeah, well, it's just
you'd
be happy with yourself, and you wouldn't have to put down other people. Sorry,
of course, yeah, but education, I think this is really national. We have to do something with education, because I don't. But you may even notice that the United States has really great science, but all sort of the super duper inventions which we claim were done by people who were not taught this in the United States, but abroad. Okay, they came here and they did stuff. Okay, so this is just.
That's my new question: is why did I call them the colonizers pick Africans to be slaves? And it wasn't because they were stupid and weak and we can control them. It's because they were very intelligent, very powerful, very strong, and very capable and able.
No, but they were also this was just the right situation. Well, slavery did not start with Africans, okay, because it was in ancient Greece too, and then the slaves could be white or black. They really did not. This wasn't connected to skin color, but in Africa, well, the Islam was moving, and there was a lot of wars, and actually, when one side won, took a lot of prisoners, and they want to make some money with it. Okay, yeah. So this was, and this is. I am not talking about the guilt. Okay, but certainly. Black people participated in creating slavery as much as white people. They were just mentally sort of turned into doing this stuff. The black people who had a lot of black prisoners were selling the black people to white English people or Portuguese, whatever, and who were transporting them to United States or whatever, and then they were again selling them. So this was just like fertile, at this time, fertile situation. But of course, in some countries, who had also virtually slavery, like for example, Poland and Russia, the lower class, the peasants, were the virtual slaves. But of course, they were virtual slaves, but this was no such thing as owning another human being because of the religion, probably. Okay, so this is like they were very low, but theoretically they were the same. Well, because of the Christian religion, as those people who had a lot of money. So yeah. So but anyway, so. But this was just really, I think, really real failing of morality in Anglo-Saxon world, plus the fact that in Africa they had these wars, constant wars. Yes.
It was a win-win.
Yeah.
Get rid of your enemies.
Right.
And then they were like, yes, we will buy those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look like able-bodied warriors that have been recently defeated and can plow a field with their hands.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yikes. So I'm gonna flip this camera. Thank you both very much for joining us this evening. It
Thank
has
you for
been
having
very-
us.
Well, thank you, and I don't know if anybody will get any advantage to listening to our.
Oh, I think it was
I
great.
learned plenty.
Yeah,
Listen, you are a
Yeah.
gem, both of you.
Yeah.
He's a brighter gem.
Yes, it has been a
I'm
wonderful.
older gem, she's a young gem.
This has been great. It's been
Yes.
great.
Well, we hope you all enjoyed this evening. Please let your call to action, their call to actions resonate. Educate yourselves and not with
Your smartphone.
propaganda, like know your source,
Know
look
your
some things
source.
up. I know I'm gonna be doing some research on the Wilmington insurrection. That was something
1898.
you taught me all kinds of stuff tonight, so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
very, very interested and can't wait to read about that. But also go get a massage, work on yourself.
I just got a massage.
Good. Good.
Call your
Yeah.
therapist or call your mother,
But
vent,
yeah.
well, maybe don't call your mothers,
But-
but and work through some
By the way,
things.
Katie was giving me massages, and they were great.
Yeah,
know,
I
this
used
is-
to be a massage
she's
therapist.
my-
Yes,
Yeah.
Katie used to be a massage therapist, just
Yeah.
in
That's where that
case
came
you
from.
all heard that, you were like, what? But again, thank you for joining us with Conversations That Matter.
Yeah.
We will see you again next month,
Next month.
and we hope you had a wonderful evening. And please feel free to reach
Yeah.
out and let us know if there are some topics that you are interested in learning about or
Maybe
hearing
even people.
or people that you would
might
like to
be
be.
on.
Yeah, come sit in the hot seat.
Yeah, but anyway, if
pretty comfy.
somebody, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but if somebody would like to talk to me and some specific questions, I welcome this.
Awesome, great.
Yes,
Ignacy
yes.
said, reach out.
Yeah, reach out. Yes, and
That'd
talk
be
to me.
great. Let us know.
Yeah.
Just don't. If you call me and I don't know the telephone number, I may can.
He screens calls people.
Can-
You need to contact
Or
him
this-
on the sidewalk in the Jonesborough way, and
That's
then
right.
you will
Contact
be allowed to call.
Contact me in Main Street Café.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like, we'll just set up your
Yeah.
meetings at the cafe.
That's-
We'll set up
that-
meetings at
that's
the
nice.
cafe, that's brilliant. And then we'll have the conversations, or Ignacy's thoughts. on
Yes.
That's
subject.
right. That's right. Yes.
That's
Oh
cool.
my goodness. Well, thank you all so much, and we will see you next month.
But I'm proud of
Okay.
myself that I